No, I hope the audio comes out all right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim with Four Wheeling, Arkansas. I'm here with my nephew, Jesse, who works for the U.S. Forest Service at Broken Bow, Oklahoma.
Yep, Broken Bow.
And we're actually on a hunting trip with his dad, who's outside in the rain underneath the awning.
And we're staying dry.
Yes,
yep, of course.
All day long, we haven't been doing much. We're doing some fishing and stuff. But I wanted to talk to Jesse because I'm fascinated. He's worked for the Forest Service for
it's going on about 23 years.
I know, and that makes me really old. So where did you start that at?
So I started out in Northern California. I fought fire for about 20 years out in Northern California. I did about 10 years on the Shasta Trinity and then another 10 years on the Lassen. And then I decided to move my entire family out to Arkansas.
Which is nice because he lives like 3 hours from me now, and I get to see him a lot more than what I instead of having to go all the way across the country, which is awesome. So tell me a little bit about where you work in Hochtown.
Yep, Hochtown, Oklahoma, which is a booming town. But there's a lot of forest, but it's really booming because we have the Clear Lake in Broken Bow. I'm not 100% sure. I have been told that there's only 2 Clear Lakes in Oklahoma, and that is one of the 2 Clear Lakes that are in Oklahoma. So we got a lot of tourists coming up from Dallas.
Right.
So it's a lot of tourists coming up, a lot of people coming and visiting, but they come up and visit the cabins, the lake itself, but the entire lake is surrounded by national forest. So there's a bunch of national forest all around.
Now here last year, me and a few of my buddies, we came down and met up, and you kind of hooked us up with some trails that we could run and an awesome campsite overlooking
the entire lake.
That was probably, I still got my buddy Jason, who I actually did this kind of deal with him last, still talks about wanting to go back. His daughter from Oklahoma went to that, still talks about it all the time. He's like, we got to get back down there at Jesse's. That was amazing.
No, there's a lot of awesome spots, I think, too, all around that entire area. Awesome spots that overlook the lake, spots that are remote, spots that you can just the four-wheeling and UTVs, all that kind of fun stuff. People travel all over the place. It's fun. It's off-road. It's our forest, and that's what it's for. That's what the people. It's I can't exactly tell you how many acres the entire national forest, but everybody. It's a public land. Right. I own it. You own it. Right. It's all of our land, and that's why I enjoy working there, because it's our land, and I'm helping caretake my land, your land, everybody. So I like showing people what they can go check out.
We went to some amazing places. It was one. Now, a couple of years ago, we were having a conversation because being part of the Overland Off-Road community, we are really big on tread lightly, which means to us that we went any place that we camp or anywhere that we off-road, we want to leave it better than we found it. So, as a general rule, we keep trasheries on the back of our Jeep. When we pull into a campsite, if there's trash laying on the ground, we pick it up when we leave, because we want to leave that spot better than we found it. Because it seems to me like a couple years ago, you had said something about to where if you guys get tired of cleaning up after people, what do you guys do to the trail?
We shut it down. Like, there's a prime example. There's an area that had a lot of dumping in it, and because it was a known area for dumping, we took a dozer, blocked the road, and we put a gate across so nobody can access that area. But you said about the tread lightly and rules and that kind of stuff. I do know, like, the whole Jeeping, the whole UTVs, that kind of stuff. People, they complain, be like, hey, there's a road blocked. But, back to I said, this is everyone's land, my land, your land. But gates are shut, kind of for a reason. For an example, there's areas on certain sides of that lake that, because of water runoffs, we limit certain times that we can send people down because of the erosion. More people on Jeep, so UTVs go down there, or it erodes a certain area, goes down to the lakes. So sometimes I look at it and be like, man, it's kind of sucks. Like, you're blocking my land, but there's
reasons for
there's
it.
kind of reasons for it.
Exactly.
You know, there's other reasons, like you said, of people dumping garbage, but not just that. There's other reasons besides just that of why there's gates up and why there's rules.
And so some trails are open certain times of the year,
Yep.
but they're closed certain times of the year.
Yep.
Now, when we were talking the other day discussing doing this, there was something that was important to you about mapping. That the MVUM is what we were talking about.
So the maps of national forests, there's always, you can always track down a main office, or even go online. There's, I'm not tech savvy, but there's online stuff that you can download these. But even if you're not tech savvy, you can go to the app office. Like me, I'm a paper map guy. Like,
Right.
yeah. All right, I'm in Township Range 32 South, blah blah blah. Hey, I know where this road is. Hey, I'm at this four-way intersection. But so you can get a paper map for free going to one of these offices, and you know that you're on the right season. There's this road, this time of the year, you can be here, blah blah blah. So it's, if you're gonna go join it, go ride stuff on the forest. Go check out the offices, and they'll give you maps and talk to you and tell you what you can and can't do. They're pretty good about it.
And where you can and can't go.
Yep.
That's a huge deal for us. Is I use Onyx Off Road, which we've been using Onyx Off Hunt, which during this hunt trip. But I also use Onyx Off Road, which is another app, but it's a subscription app. But I also use Gaia Off Road. And both of those apps yearly update the MVUM, the motor vehicle use maps, which basically tells us as the public what, and as long as they're updated every year and you keep them updated, they will tell you what roads are closed and where you can be and what you can't be on. And 100%. And we've been a lot of places, and honest to God, if that trail, even though I can see that it's been used and people have been on it, if it is not on the MVUM map,
It's not
I
allowed.
do not go.
And
Period.
we have that. Like, we got a power line. Looks super awesome, and it looks a blast to run up and down. Like, that would be fun to take something
Right.
and drive up there, right?
Yeah,
You know, but we're not allowed. And there's a reason behind it, because of erosion. And, you know, our big thing is we want to keep it for my kids, my grandkids, and everybody else. And so that's that sustained ecosystem that we want to keep. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah, it kind of limits things I get to do fun, but yeah, my fun stuff I get to. Yeah, it is
We
kinda
still get to
tearing
do a
stuff
lot of
up,
fun.
so
There's a lot of fun things to do that
There
are
is.
legal to do,
yeah.
and there's no trouble that comes along. I know the Jeep community and the side-by-side community, a lot of times we butt heads. You know, and it's just it's the communities. It's, you know, but that is so important to keep these lands open, to follow the rules and regulations of the Forest Service
It would
and the
be.
national parks.
I would say we are open pretty much Monday through Friday all the time. And there's somebody that you can call, even if it's our district, a neighboring district. Ask a question, they will give an answer. If you say, hey, can I go here? They will let you know. They're great people. They're more than willing to answer questions or find out the answer.
To help.
Yeah,
They're there to help you.
Either call, or as you're driving by, come check it out and be like, hey, I'm going up here. What should I be thinking
What
of?
do I need to
Can
know?
I go here? Hey, here's some maps. Here's the current stuff. And
Right.
you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And that is, we absolutely, me and my group of people that I spend a lot of time dealing with, we're not wanting to do anything that's not legal, because that, you know, a lot of the country and a lot of places in the country out around Moab, they just closed hundreds of miles of trails for off-road vehicles. So it's a fight for our community to keep trails open in the Ozarks and the Ouachita National Forest, but you work in the Ouachitas on the Oklahoma side, but we will a lot on the Arkansas side as well. And so that's a constant battle. But what's cool about this is these guys who are there, and you spend a lot of the winter burning off. You do controlled burns and a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
Trying to preserve these areas for us to enjoy in the, off-road community. But, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm looking at here. You are as much of an outdoorsman as anybody that I know. You've grown up. Your dad fell timber for years, and you've always worked in the forest. I mean, you're an outdoor guy. You hunt, you fish.
I love the outdoors.
You love all of it. And so your idea is you want to conserve it. But there are things you have to do.
You do.
To preserve.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of people it's always a hindrance of everything. Like, okay, like you said, burning. We burn, we burn as much as we can. And some people think like, hey, you're burning this and you're impeding my area because I had plans to go here that weekend. And we do apologize, but we're trying to bring back the ecosystem of how it used to be.
Yeah.
Not stuff overgrown and where when a fire does come through and it devastates everything. So
Right.
We're trying to bring back that keeping everything under control. And it's a hindrance on some people. There's going to always be somebody that was hiking a trail and we're saying, hey, we're sorry, it's closed. You're going to have to go around. Or people had a camping trip in that area and there's going to have that stuff. But we have things planned too. But there is lots of area. I hate to tell people like you got to go here and tell people that you can't go on this area, but we're trying to get something done to keep it better for your family and your kids and grandkids and their grandkids. And so it's the long term picture that we're
you're looking big
at.
picture.
Yep. So
I know when we were down there a couple of years ago, you guys were actually burning in that area that we were at. You were burning like
burned-
right
what
down
was it,
the
a week
road.
before-
Yeah, a week
before, I
before
think,
you were
and-
burning where we camped at on that hilltop.
And we try to help out because we try to, and I even told you, be like, hey, we're going to be burning this time. You get contact with me,
Yes.
but you could have, just
On the
swinging
Forest
by.
Service office
Yes,
as
they would have
well.
told you, be like, hey, they're doing a burn at this time, that place is going to be closed.
Yeah.
But hey, they should be done on this time, and literally be like, hey,
We were there like 3 days later.
and be like, hey, it's
other than
open,
we
and-
seen the burn off where you guys were burning as we came past, but it didn't affect us any at all. We were still up there. The smoke and all that was all gone. We had beautiful overlooks of the lake, but we knew that was going on, and we knew to expect that, and that was just part of it.
And
So-
that's it. Communication. It works in everything of just call. So I look at it. If I just go randomly to a certain place and be like, well, why are you doing this? Well, you would have known if you would have called. If you would have said,
Exactly.
hey, I'm looking at going in this area.
Yeah.
And a lot of people just, hey, make a phone
They
call.
show up.
Just,
They show up, and it's like, oh man, it's all smoky because y'all been burning. Well, if you'd have called, we had this plan for 3 months. We knew we were going to be here, or however long.
I don't know about 3 months, but we try to.
But you know ahead of time.
We know ahead of time to
Yeah.
a certain point, like we're trying this spot here.
Yeah.
And that's mostly what I do is the fire side.
Right.
There's always logging and timber falling, and there are certain things in different areas, and those are more planned long term. So those you can get more advanced with.
Right.
You'll know where you can go camping and where there's not going to be all that stuff.
Right. For us, to me personally, and the people that I spend time doing this with, that's part of the adventure. I mean, how many times we started down a trail after a storm and we get in there and there's a tree, 3-foot tree across the road. Well, there's two options. We can either take the time and we can clear the trail because you guys don't mind doing that. I mean, you don't mind us doing that, right?
No.
I mean, cutting it off and clearing the trail and going on. And if you don't have the stuff to do it, you can always turn around and go back. There's always somewhere else
So
to
you know
go.
what you can always do when you see that stuff too?
Mark it and let you guys
Let
know.
us know because
and
that's
you'll
what
clean it.
I will go out there and go
Right.
work on that stuff too.
I know
So
our
it's-
people, we carry saws with us,
Yep.
chainsaws, we have winches on our Jeeps. So, and here's the thing, there's way more of us in the woods than there
There
are of
is.
you. You can't
We have a
clear
handful.
all of them.
No.
Right.
And
so,
I would love to say that I could,
yeah, it'd be
but
nice.
there's just
So
we're
much.
just a small group, and you know, and I look at it, we're a small group taking care of this large forest. there's a lot of you guys. Everybody's out there, and like,
And we all carry chainsaws, and we all have winches, and we all have these things. It's not that big of a deal to cut a top off and cut it on the other end and hook a winch and a snatch block and pull it off the side of the road to clear the trail.
I'm not going to
If we
say
can
not
do
to.
that,
I won't say not to do it.
right? Exactly.
If you can do it safely and you
Yeah,
have the
yeah,
equipment,
exactly.
you know, have the knowledge, and
Exactly. And everybody can't do that, but you always have the option to turn around and go back to you.
you do.
And I will tell you this,
But there's
is
maps
what he
also
brought
say
up.
other ways to go around.
Yeah, exactly. And I can drop a pin there, and you can let your local Forest Service department know. And when they get a chance, they'll get up there and clean that road too.
We got
Absolutely.
dozers, we got all the
All
heavy
kinds of
equipment
equipment.
that we can make it get done.
Absolutely. So one other thing before we do, because I don't want to keep, we're sitting here just having a good time. We're sitting out in the rain and had some fish. Jesse fried us all up fish and had a wonderful dinner. We're sitting around visiting. But is there anything else that you can think of that you just want the public to know about your little part of the world? Or I know you've been in California, you fought wildfires out there, and now you're in Oklahoma and Arkansas. Is there anything that you just want people to know of to be thoughtful about when they're in the national forest?
You know, I'd have to say just enjoy the national forest and understand that it's yours,
Mhm.
it's mine, and it's any taxpayer, it's everybody's. It's
Yeah.
every United States citizen's land that has been put aside for us to enjoy, and I am here to try to keep it going and sustained for my kids, my grandkids, their grandkids, and so I'm hoping it keeps going because, you know, I can't afford to have all this land to go in my house
No.
and go drive a Jeep around in circles. And then my kids, I yell at them all the time for taking the side by side. They wear my grass out, right?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
but you know what? I can't afford to have all this land.
Right. Yeah.
But you know what? As a taxpayer,
We have
I
this land.
own this land, as everybody has a piece of this land across the entire United States. That we can go up and we can go enjoy. We can hunt, we can hike, we can fish, we can
Explore. Just
explore.
explore,
Be in
yeah.
the wilderness, or just go out and sit on a rock and just stare at the skies. There, you could sit there and stare at an ant pile
Exactly.
for an hour and watch ants walk around. Like
Exactly.
that's wilderness. I
Exactly.
enjoy
Right.
that stuff. So
It's the little things.
it's the little things.
Fire stuff. Be wise with fires when you're
Oh,
in
yes.
the forest, you know. I mean, we're under a burn ban part of the time here in Arkansas, and then other times we aren't, you know. Be careful and mindful about where you build fires when you're camping, you know.
Yes,
You know, that's what you do. You fight
I
fires.
do. And you know that's what part of it. Communications. If you ask, they will tell.
Right.
Call, ask questions. Wherever you think you're going, you can always look at just the forest. And then inside that forest, there's smaller areas of the districts inside those districts. And you can always get a hold of somebody that you want to go and ask a question. They will be more than willing to ask or to answer the questions. But just ask.
Yeah.
You don't know it if you don't ask. And
Absolutely.
if you don't ask and you don't know it, we do have law enforcement. You know, they're there to not to harass you, but they're there to make sure that, you know, these rules are followed and it stays sustained for everybody. So
Right. There's an
it's-
end game.
There-
You're not
there
just out
is.
there on some power trip saying, "Oh, I can tell you what to do in this forest." It's not that at all.
No.
Because that's what I love about you. You want this to be here for your kids and your grandkids and their grandkids, which is the same. My grandkids love to go. You know, your kids love to go
They want to be in the woods all the time.
all the time.
It's
I mean, I
pain,
got a grandson.
but-
Yes, but I got a grandson that loves. He wanted me a few weeks ago. I gave him a camera and said, "Hey, film whatever's cool to you." You got to watch that video. It's awesome.
I'll have to check it out.
It is awesome. The last two videos is 2 parts. But anyway, I want to thank my nephew Jesse for doing this, but I wanted good information too, and to let everybody know this is kind of what we're all on the same team. Even though I know him and he's not going to be mean to me, but they're not going to be mean to you either because they're there to protect this for all of us.
They are, and there is rules out there. I always hated to be that guy. Like, do this, it's a rule. I always hated being the rule guy.
Yes.
But you know, there is rules out there, and it's for there's a reason for the rules. It may not sound right at the time, but there is a reason. It's You know, there's other people that get paid a lot of money that has these scientific reasons, but for the environment, for the animals, all the way down to a certain fish, maybe for that area, that the erosion. There's rules. So there's.
Rules
If they
and
feel
everything.
like, why is there a rock in front of this road? I want to just go around it.
Yeah.
You know, it's road shut off for a reason. Just
And I would be willing to bet somebody knows. If you make a few phone calls, you can probably find out, Rob, why that road's
you
closed.
do it. If you really
I mean,
want to know,
if
like,
you want to know,
if you want to go
you
down
may
that
not know,
rabbit
but if
hole,
I called you, you could probably find out from somebody why that road's closed.
I probably
You
could.
probably wouldn't want to,
I-
but you could.
I would have to bug some people, but I could probably find out why.
Right.
And
Most of the time, it's pretty self-evident why. It's pretty obvious why,
it is.
I think.
Yep. And the biggest thing I would have to say, it's either environmentally, well, majority of it's environmentally, with either water quality, which falls into the animals, fish, animals, that kind of stuff. It falls into any of that kind of stuff. It's for the wildlife, because it's not just the land.
Right.
We're trying to manage the wildlife.
Yeah.
And making sure the wildlife stays safe,
Absolutely.
the fish, all the way down to even, like I said, drinking water
Yeah.
for the communities.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep the streams and stuff safe. So it's there's reasons for all of it. It's
And let's just face it, being out in the wilderness, without the animals kind of make that. That's all part of that ecosystem. And who doesn't like seeing a deer or a hog or
that's where we're at.
chipmunks or
That's
whatever?
where we're here this
running
weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see an animal this weekend.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'd really like to
We
see
would
a
not
buck,
be
you
here
know?
without that.
No.
We would not. If
No.
it wasn't for deer or hogs, you know, where we're at.
And we're
we
out
would
here
not be.
on government land.
We absolutely are. Hunting we're hunting public land.
Yeah,
We're
and then-
camped here on private land,
We
but we're actually hunting on public land. I don't hunt private land myself. I just don't. I hunt public land, just because it's more challenging to me, for one thing.
It is more challenging, and you're not just top of the challenging. It is, I will say, coming from out west with, well, some of the rules here where we're at, it's a big rule of this little area has one rule.
Yes.
This little rule over here, this little area has a different rule.
Yeah.
So literally, when you go down, like you learn the rules of where you're at,
Where you're
where
at,
you're hunting,
yep,
and
yep.
I guarantee that there will be a form. You can just look up hunting, like for an example here at this refuge. There's a rule, there's a whole book, and you can read it down. It tells you everything of the
you
rules.
need to know.
And
It's
at the
fun.
bottom, probably what it says at the bottom. Any questions? Call a number.
Every one of them.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
So, biggest thing is ask or call, talk to somebody if you're for sure. If you have a question, that's what I would have to leave the whole thing with. Ask questions.
Yeah.
If you're unsure.
Information is power.
It is.
Absolutely. Very cool. We are going to end this here, and I want to thank Jesse for doing this, because I roped him into this and didn't tell him what we were going to talk about, because I don't want any of this to seem scripted. So it's just having a conversation. But thanks to him, thanks to my brother, his dad, for coming out from the Northern California